We always say we're really good when we're not because the mind tells you.
That's right. Yeah, you convince your brain that everything's okay, even though, but people say, yeah, but it doesn't change anything. But you know what it does? It changes us inside, and that's a good start at least. Mm-hmm. Why have a bad reality if you can have a good one inside?
Yeah, that's right. Live that good one.
Exactly.
Change your mind, change your world.
That's it.
And we've been speaking about the soul for this is our third week in a row now. It's been really fun, hasn't it, Carl? It's really interesting.
It's a wonderful and fascinating subject matter, and we've said this a lot, that it's been going on for centuries, people talking about the soul, the spirit, what makes us, what is there anything more than just our body? So it's really interesting. As a psychologist and a lover of philosophy, it's one of my favourite subject matters because it also, even though we never can come to a proper conclusion, it's fun to discuss and to exchange ideas with others about it.
Yeah, really interesting. And we're going to speak a bit about astral travel, aren't we, today?
Yeah, that's a wonderful subject.
Really good.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, astral traveling and or projection or going on a journey, as I say, it can't happen if there is no soul. Of course,
that's right.
And so the basis is we have to start from the premise that there is a soul, which is a huge leap, of course, philosophically. Yeah. A lot of people would say there's no proof for that, but let's just say there is. That makes us then capable of actually then leaving our bodies and being in contact with other parts of the universe.
Yes. And they say by a long silver strong cord that is attached to your body so that your soul can come back. That's the thought behind it.
That's right. And off air we discussed a little bit about this, and it's quite based on other types of philosophies, especially Eastern philosophies and Indian philosophy, as you rightly said, off air. So it's sometimes for us Westerners, it's a little bit difficult to comprehend because we're not brought
up with it.
That's right. And even the terminology that we're connected, and so forth, unless, hey, where is it? I can't see it.
That's right.
But we're talking metaphysically
right? And ethereal.
That's exactly right. So it's all these terms, and it's not that far away from us Westerners, because a lot of these type of philosophies and ideas have come into now current science and psychology, especially with things like mindfulness and so forth, which were really almost taboo 20 years ago.
It was, wasn't it? Even yoga was back 30 years ago.
Exactly, and a lot of medical doctors wouldn't support it and so forth. Now, even with insurance companies, people that have had car accidents or are trying to recover, they do approve treatment like yoga and mindfulness and meditation and all these other things that were not part of the so-called scientific plan. So we're still learning, all of us, and I keep an open mind. Yes. I myself haven't had an experience of astral traveling, but I think some people have.
I have.
You have?
Since I was a young girl, in your sleep, you just know you go somewhere and you actually, this is my experience, and it scientifically, not proven. It's just what I feel.
Of course.
And you learn. You learn in your sleep. It's different to dreams. And you go and visit places and you can sometimes think that you've already been there, like that deja vu.
Right.
Like in past lives, maybe, if you believe in past lives, that is, of course, as well. And then you can even get some premonitions, or that I call the teachings from where you go during your sleep.
Right.
And to me, some of them have come true.
Incredible. And that's when you were quite young.
And and still do it now. I've been since I was young.
That's incredible. See, I've never had that, but I've also experienced situations where I have not been able to see something or perceive, if you like, rather than see with the eyes. Perceive. Sometimes it's just a feeling, isn't it? But other people have. And it's very simple. I mean, some of us can hear certain noises that others can't. Yeah. We start losing our hearing as we get older. We start seeing less and so forth. So we know that dogs can have the ability to perceive certain very, very, very high sounds that are really inaudible to the human ear. So there are things out there that us humans don't have access to. But I think some people are just more in touch with
more
that.
Open to it, more in touch with
That's
it.
right. And they have more, they're focused a bit more on it. They have the knowledge and the experience. And it's a little bit, once I built a little brick barbecue, you know, I just did it, you know, just through reason, you know, and maybe I got on one of those video apps and I followed procedure and I thought it was quite good and my dad thought it was quite good. But then a friend of mine who's a bricklayer came over. And he looked at, okay, so what do you reckon? I was really proud of it. And he goes, yeah, it's all right.
It's all right. Oh,
because, of course, he's been doing this for 40 years.
Yeah.
He knows, he can see the mistakes. Others can't because his focus is on that. He has a foundation for that. And I think metaphysical things are similar.
Yeah.
I think some people have just got their ears pricked up in order to hear, see, perceive things that for some of us, sometimes we can't, but for most of the time, we don't because we're not focused on it.
That's right. And I wonder if it's to do with how deeply you sleep as well. You know.
Well, look, sleep is a fascinating subject matter altogether, isn't it? And we know when we're on REM or REM sleep that our unconscious takes over, and so dreams and so forth are part of our unconscious. And some people might say that astral traveling is just part of that.
Part of dreaming. I was just going to say too, what would the difference be? We wouldn't know, would we?
Well, that's right. And sometimes we hear things, we see things, even when we are conscious, and they're not there, they don't exist.
Yeah.
And so that's also what we would call a delusion. But it's, I think, with these types of subject matters, because they can't be proven either way, there is a big weight on faith, isn't there?
Yes.
It's on faith. So someone might wake up and say, I had this dream that I was traveling through the universe. And then someone else might wake up because they're focused on that and say, you know what, I actually astral traveled and so forth. And one is no more correct than the other.
That's right. And same with the dream is no more correct than astral travelling because the differentiation.
And who knows, even if it's part of it, we won't be able to measure whether when we do dream, in our brains, when we wake up, we thought that was real, right?
Yeah.
We've had dreams, all of us, some not so good ones and some great ones,
Sometimes
which we wish we had kept sleeping.
That's right. And the others you go, oh my gosh, thank gosh, I'm awake.
And, you know, I was talking to a patient yesterday in my clinic about it with night terrors and her partner was there and it was real. She was having a panic attack. Even after she woke up, the physiological reaction to it was like those bad things were happening to her. So it's really a discussion on reality, but I think there's not much scientific basis as in empirical studies, as in people seeing, experiencing and so forth. But there are philosophical I think, foundations for it. And one of them is one of my favourite philosophers called Spinoza, who lived in the 1600s. And he had quite a tough life, this guy. And he's got a wonderful philosophy of life. Very difficult philosopher to read because he's a philosopher for philosophers. It's very technical and quite logical and very boring in a way, you know. He's not like Plato or Nietzsche or these that just write beautifully. But the reason why it worked is because he had a logical argument and he felt that basically there's only one substance in the world and that's it. And we are all part of it.
Yes.
There's no such thing as individuals. There's no such thing.
Like little atoms.
That's right. We are all part of one. So, and in a way it's a beautiful theory because it's quite an empathetic theory because you don't want to hurt yourself by hurting something else, a living creature or somebody else. You're really hurting yourself. Yeah. And he didn't think only that the earth was, the whole universe was just one substance and we are all part of it. And so if that's correct in that sense, it means that we, in a way, we do travel within ourselves.
That's right. I mean?
When you astral travel and you travel through, the universe, you're traveling through there's only one substance, which is yourself or the universe, and that's a lovely way to look at it. I thought.
That's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. So you are technically traveling within yourself, and so the fact that someone might say, "Oh, but you didn't go to Mars," no, but Mars is part of me too, in a way.
Very interesting, isn't it?
It's very interesting. It's a fascinating subject matter. It's not a subject matter to convince someone else or to come to a conclusion. It's one of those things that it's just lovely to discuss. Because it's what makes us human, the ability to talk about these wonderful abstract notions that for some of us may be real, but for others not.
And we're very inquisitive beings, aren't we?
We are very curious, and
good.
It's allowed us to progress in many ways, that curiosity. But of course, it's also created other issues that are really just part of our own species, which aren't that great compared to other animals, which is obviously sometimes we don't treat each other too well.
That's true. And we were talking about this, chatting about this about 6-7 years ago now, weren't we? This same topic.
Oh, wow,
and
I know.
People are more open now. I think even since COVID and people were working at home more on YouTube and discussing more things, and I think people are more open to these things. And,
yes.
Good to talk about.
Oh, yeah, and it's just incredible how those 7 years just flew by, because I remember when you contacted me out of the blue because you had got hold of my book.
Goodbye, Charlie.
Yeah, and you happened to get in contact with me, and I just came in for that one session.
That one session. I was going to say,
that's it, just talk about the book. And I said, and now that you can't get rid of me.
I'm so glad about that. Or you wouldn't be here today, would you?
That's right. It's one of the things I look forward to in my life. It's a wonderful feeling to be able to, more than anything, just discuss things. And I'm very happy for people to ring up as they do or contact me and have their own opinions, because that allows me to be more broad-minded
to think more. Yeah,
exactly.
That's right. Well, good on you, Carlos. And you chose a great song by the Dynamic Hypnotics.
Yeah, it's showing my age a bit, but what a beautiful melody.
Oh, I love it. It's Australian too.
Excellent.
Isn't it? It's soul kind of feeling.